Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Levels and Medz here on the Bridge 99 FM. And welcome to all of those coming off of that long holiday weekend. I hope you guys got some rest for your mind, got some rest for your body. And particularly attached to this morning's episode, I hope you got some rest for your spirit and your soul. You know, a holistic rest. I know I took some time off myself and I am feeling very refreshed this morning. In fact, I was told that I downloaded some information into my system, but we're going to get into more of that this morning here on the Bridge 99 FM. If you're just tuning in, you're joining me, your host Jeffrey Azan, here on Levels and Medz. And if you are a first-time Bridge listener, remember you can check out the Bridge on the entire 99 bandwidth. That's 0.1, 0.3, 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9. If you want to see what's happening in studio, you can check us out online at thebridge99fm.com. And if you're on the move, you can always download our app in the Android Play Store or Apple App Store simply by searching The Bridge 99 FM, all one word. Of course, follow us on the socials, The Bridge 99 FM. Follow me on the socials, Jeffrey J. Azan. And you're going to want to follow our guest for today's episode of Levels and Medz. Joining me in studio is a superstar, by no exaggeration, Paula Herlock. Paula actually had to remind me that we actually go way back to my very first business venture many moons ago. And today Paula is going to be joining us on sharing on this topic, the intersection between spirituality, wellness, and career success. Or as IT shared with us last week, on our secular success here in the world. It's a lot of dynamism. It is not simply work hard and make money, take that money and buy the things that you want. But there are many elements that make us up. And many of the coaches, professional and personal development coaches out there, even the psychologists, are encouraging this sort of wellness of spirit, wellness of being, not just work hard, because you never want to be the person who gets to the top of the mountain, achieves everything, and looks around and you're alone, you're empty, you're unfulfilled, despite the fact of earning a lot of money. And I find that here in Jamaica, it is a common misconception because we live in a country where there are a lot of people without. There is no denying the fact that many people have come up in families and situations and under circumstances that have left them lacking in the financial department. And so earning money, acquiring money, hoarding money, having money becomes a big telltale of what is success in life. It's the thing that we need for life to be meaningful. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, when you speak to a lot of people who have achieved it, who have been born into it, who have earned it or inherited it, they'll tell you that without fulfillment, without relationships, without wellness, without good health, all of that money serves no real purpose. So it really is, as so well put, the intersection between spirituality, wellness, and career success. As I said, joining us in studio today is Paula Herlock. And Paula, among many things, I'm going to just take a few snippets from her professional bio. Paula is the founder of Wellness Experience Jamaica, an alternative and holistic health service that aims to promote health and wellness for Jamaicans through traditional herbs, spices, immersion in nature, and energy healing. Outside of that, Paula has been involved in Sutherland's corporate social responsibility initiative, working with youth at risk, getting them immersed in the system, creating opportunities for training, development, advancement. She is here to uplift each and every one of us in the nation. She is focused on providing those who don't know the know so that they can achieve what it is that they want and hope to achieve. Folks, Bridge Nation, and the rest of the world, please help me to welcome Paula Herlock into the studio. Wow!
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you. And I have to just commend Bridge and yourself for this program because I think it's well needed at this time. We need to just remind people of muscles that they have in their body and aspects of themselves that they're not aware of. You know, if you don't know, you don't know. And just before I came on, I was having a conversation with one of your team members, and I was explaining how important meditation is, and the fact that the main thing that meditation does is to synchronize your left brain and your right brain, the left and right hemispheres of the brain. And most people don't even know that they have a left hemisphere and right hemisphere of the brain,
Much
except
less
from
thinking.
yes, and how that is going to impact how you function, your level of cognition, how efficient you are, how happy you are, all of those things. So it's very important for us to know how we function as a human, our human physiology, and then how that intersects, as you've so brilliantly put in your theme this morning, how spirituality and physical and mental and emotional intersect.
No, I mean, it is a critical element, and I'm looking to get more into this meditation conversation. But you're absolutely right. Ignorance is probably one of our biggest downfalls in achievement, in success. Yet, in the same way, in a very practical sense, they say ignorance of the law is a poor defense.
Yes.
So ignorance of self is a poor argument as to why I am not healthy, successful, living my best life, maximum potential, etc.
Especially post-pandemic. We had a lot of time. We literally, the entire planet got a sabbatical to sit down and understand why they feel the way they feel, how my body works, how are some people getting sick and some people remaining well. So we all had that opportunity, and we all had smart devices at our disposal. The problem is what some of us chose to do with those smart devices in that time. Again, it's the same thing. You can either weaponize it or use it as a tool.
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely. As they say, all technology is neutral. It's the user who determines whether it's good or bad.
That's right.
All right, Paula. We reached out to the Bridge Nation. Standard part of practice is we reach out to the Bridge Nation and kind of ask them a question around the topic of the day. And so we really asked them, can you achieve wellness without spirituality? And I would say there was a strong argument, no, not possible. Cannot achieve wellness without spirituality. However, there were a few people, two in particular that I remember offhand, that kind of led more, yes, you can achieve a certain level of wellness without spirituality. One, or I would actually say both of them, stemmed from the place of ignorance. If I don't acknowledge that there is a spirit or soul to be well, then within my ignorance, I can achieve wellness. What's your take on that thought process?
Okay, so I've always taken a holistic approach to life and to understanding life and even understanding the human body. Now, we always hear references to mind, body, spirit. There is a triad. And you cannot have one well and the other one unwell or unattended to. It's just like a car. If you have 4 tires and the left front tire goes flat, you cannot drive. You cannot drive this human vehicle when one or two are out of sync. And we've all tried this. That is called illness. The opposite of illness being wellness. So you have to have all 3 aspects of the human body in alignment and in good working order. Now, I'll give an example for those people who don't believe that it is necessary. I'll give an example of trying to do one without the other 2. There are lots of people who are watching their calories, going to the gym, running 5Ks, going to work, functioning effectively, and then behind closed doors, they're a hopeless mess. They're having anxiety, they're having depression, and they have zero ability to forge a relationship. That is because their spirit has not been developed. So it is sustainable to an extent, but in Jamaica we call it eventually it going pop down. It's not going to work. It's like a three-legged stool with one leg missing. It's not going to work.
You can balance it for a while.
A time, right? So it will look on the face of it like, yeah, the body looks fit, the body looks strong. You have six-pack here, rips there, whatever, and you look good.
All of those, I'm lacking all of those.
It's okay. What you have going on is sufficient to sustain everything else. And this is the point that I'm going to make, in that you can have those people who look fantastic on the outside. They're watching the calories, but they have not cultivated, and I call it cultivate or curate, because you create the body, and you created your nutritional intake, but you didn't curate the spiritual or the spiritual aspect of yourself. So what happens? It doesn't exist. It's tiny. You don't have no muscles. You have no core. You are not strong. You're not able to deal with problems when they come. You're not able to deal with challenges. And I will even go further. If you are not able to deal with problems, you pretty much basically hold those issues in your body, your emotions, stagnant. They're not moving. And then they begin to manifest as disease. Right? So I always urge people, hey, work from the other end. Work on the inner man, the spiritual side. Cultivate the physical side. Ensure that you take care of the, nutritional properly. And we're going to talk about that a little later.
For sure.
But it is imperative. In fact, they say, the biblical reference I'm going to make this morning is, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all good things will be added unto you. In other words, work on the inner man, work on the spirit man, because then everything else will be nourished from that place. Right?
No, I mean, my brain is ticking. I'm following you, and I want to add to that. But we're going to come back shortly to all that you just said, because I think you've kind of laid the groundwork of things that to discuss this morning.
Yes.
We have a big belief, and I have a big belief, and I'm championing it, and I'm trying to get others to embody it as well. It's one thing to hear the lesson, but you really don't appreciate the lesson unless you know the teacher.
Right.
I would love for you to introduce yourself to Bridge Nation in what got you on this spiritual path. How did you get here, so that we can kind of put where you're coming from and the advice you're giving together this morning.
Right. So what got me on the spiritual path is conflict, interpersonal conflicts, within the family, and not understanding why those conflicts existed, because I could see nothing to justify where there was an issue. And I had to do research to find out, okay, this is not just a relationship issue. This is a spiritual issue in terms of the spiritual interaction between the different family members and who they are. Because remember, all of us come here as spirit or soul. I will do some definitions after this, because some people use spirit and soul interchangeably, and some people say no, one is spirit and one is soul. I use it interchangeably. I don't want to go into the semantics of what the difference is. But all of us are here on purpose, and all of us come into situations. We're born into situations to hone and condition our soul to do the work that it has to do. So sometimes you're born into situations where you have conflicts. You have to get strong because you're designed to go out there and be strong in the world. So I had to go learn that. I had to go through whatever the conflicts were, understand them, make peace with them, and then move on. But as a result of some of those early conflicts, I became ill in my body because, again, I didn't understand. A lot of people don't understand when you have what you call a tough childhood, and you have not properly integrated the traumas, then you store it in your body. You store it in your body as illness. This is why we have a lot of, in this island, diabetes and hypertension. It has to do with adverse childhood experiences that we had, that we've not made peace with, we've not integrated and released, and so we store it. And so when we get to a certain age, it starts to manifest as disease. So when I was about 40, I started to have issues. And so I had to now take a step back and understand why I got it and what the causes
Hold
were.
on. Sorry. Pause that story.
Yes.
When you were 40,
Yes.
but you don't reach 40 yet.
But I am 50 something.
Folks, let me tell you, whatever she's doing is working.
Well, because I had to wake up and take a strong look at what I was doing, which is not eating properly, not sleeping properly, being this career woman, driven, working on this policy documents, going to this meeting, writing this document, going to, planning, writing proposals, no sleep, no proper food, no exercise. When would I find the time to do that? So literally my body just said, okay, let's see where you're going to go with this. And the body stopped.
And then you worked on it.
I had to go learn about eating correctly, eliminating processed foods, because, ladies and gentlemen, the processed foods you are eating today, your grandparents and your great-grandparents never ate, and they lived long and strong. You, on the other hand, by the time you're 30, the doctor is giving you a diagnosis that is going to cost you millions. Guys, stop.
I feel like we're getting into the advice past the story. We're going to take a quick break here on the bridge and come right back to hear all of the tidbits and experience that we have to learn from. Stay tuned right here on the Bridge 99. And you're back to the Bridge 99 FM here with me, Jeffrey Azan, as we go through our levels and meds for the day. Next level living and thinking as we have next level conversations. Joining me in studio is none other than Paula Herlock, and Paula is just dropping the bombs on us. She is sharing the wisdom. How can we really manifest a true holistic approach to wellness, spirituality, and career success? Now, I had to rein in Paula, because Paula was about to give us all of the tidbits before we went to break. But she said something that I want us to kind of start back the conversation. So, Paula, you started on an element of defining that some people separate things they don't really appreciate when we say spirit and soul, or one, you use them interchangeably. Let's start there. What do you define as sort of this soul and spirit, if you can even give it a definition, because I feel like that's something philosophers have been arguing for a long time.
It is a tricky question, but for the purposes of this morning and for our listeners, it is the thing that animates or drives the vehicle that we're in. Otherwise, just like a car needs fuel, an engine and a fuel to run, we need our soul or our spirit to animate our body. So in the Bible they say, we're given breath. We also know that when we are in our mother's womb, we are already a living organism with life in it, and that when we come out, we take a breath and then we are alive. So your soul is what animates this vehicle that we call our body. When the soul leaves, the body has died, and none of the functions work. So of course it's a very interesting thing, because there's a science will tell you that the body is dead when the heart stops beating and the brain becomes dead, and there's no more signals or communication between the brain and the rest of the body. So where does the soul attach in the body? It doesn't. It's just kind of one of those strange things that nobody can answer.
On those grounds of that idea of what is death, I remember reading a study. I don't remember where it was from. Maybe somebody in Bridge Nation can double check it for us. But there was a study done where they were weighing people at the point of death, and there was actually a change in weight of something like 0.04 grams.
Yes.
And it was consistent, and it was this theory of, does the soul have mass?
Yes. Well, you know what they say, the soul never dies. It's the same thing they say, energy can't
be destroyed or created.
So you could say that the soul is basically an energy that is inside. I mean, it seems to have a weight based on what you're saying. And so we know it's almost kind of like weightless, but it's the most powerful part of the human body, because without it, the body does not work.
True.
Right?
True,
So even
true.
though it has a tiny weight, it's still the most significant thing. And so we need to take care of it.
And on that note, you are saying that a big element of wellness versus illness is, we'd call it the lack of synchronization, the lack of alignment between the mind, the body, and the soul. And so when they are aligned, you have wellness, and when they're not aligned, you'll eventually have illness.
That's right.
How do we, first and foremost, how would you advise us to find out if we are even aligned? How do I check that? You know, do I go to the front end man and I say, you know, am I aligned? How we figure that out?
Well, you can figure it out easily by looking at yourself and then thinking to yourself, how do I feel? Right? Now, wellness manifests physically and mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So when you're fully aligned, you are functional, you are vibrant, your skin and your body is flexible, strong, and you know, in Jamaica they say you're hearty, because you are hearty, you are joyful, you're exuberant, you are filled with ideas, you're bringing with ideas, you're easy to get along with. If you have relational issues, if you don't get along well with your peers, your colleagues at work, something is out of balance. Right? If you can't bend down and touch your toes easily, something is out of balance. If you're sad for more of the day than you're happy, something is out of balance. If you find that you need to drown your sorrows or make yourself happy through substance, whether it's food, whether it's partying, whether it's alcohol, whether it's a cigarette, whether it's coffee, whether it's, you know, sweet things, something is out of balance, right? These are indicators of the body trying to come back into equilibrium, trying to regain joy, trying to regain some kind of contentment, right? So those are the ways that I look at it. You have to look at all. You can't just say, okay, I have money in my as you alluded to, I have money in my bank account, I have my big house, my big car, so I'm good. Look around. Do you have friends? Do you have a social life? Do you have a husband? Do you have a wife? Do you have children? If not, then something might have been out of balance some years back, which has resulted in you having money but none of the other things, right? So it's really just taking a 360 look at your life, a 360 look at your state of mind, a 360 look at your body. Because what they say is that as without, so within. So if you have something here and nothing there, it's an indication that in here there is some kind of imbalance. Yeah?
Love
Make
that.
sense?
I'm following you 100%. And as I'm listening, I'm reflecting on myself and saying, okay, where do I feel that friction? Where do I feel that undue stress and that those heavy emotions that seem to come out of nowhere? Where am I experiencing resistance in life, where I'm putting in the work and I'm doing the right and the right and the right, but there's a resistance?
I like that question, because resistance is the real, to me, is the greatest indicator of where you're stuck or where you're having an inadequacy. And I'll say something about resistance. I remember when I was younger, I used to have to work so hard to achieve an objective, right? And then because I was leading an imbalanced life where I was working, not sleeping, not eating, not exercising, I got like literally thrown down. Like everything popped down. And I had to stop and step back, because I had to step back and say, so what happened? I was doing everything right. No, you weren't. You were just doing work to the exclusion of everything else. So I had to step back, stop, and regroup and say, okay, so the next time I go in, I'm going to do this right. Now, resistance is the greatest indicator, as I said before. after I stepped back into the fray, I took a long sabbatical to cultivate the spiritual side of me. I really took the time to rest, to spend quiet time in meditation, to spend quiet time in nature, reconnecting with the earth, because we are all one. We're part of an ecosystem. We're not just here by ourselves. We're part of the earth. And so we need to connect with it. It nourishes us. It nourishes our spirit, our soul, even though we don't know exactly how it does, but it does. I had to spend time in nature, reconnect. I had to now look at what was going on in my body, why it stopped. I had to go look at my blood. I had to go look at my nutrition. I had to look at what I was eating and then recalibrate so that everything else was good. And I spent a lot of time in deep meditation, contemplation, realizing that I was in fear half of the time. Why was I in fear? Why was I anxious? Diet. My central nervous system wasn't being nourished. And so once I started nourishing and I started spending time giving the central nervous system a break, nourishing it with meditation and quiet time, then everything became stronger. When I went back into the fray, I literally could do things like at the snap of a finger. I wanted to do something, the ideas would come, so my cognition increased. There is something called the universal field of consciousness. They say if you tap into that, you can access all information. And so what I found, because I was meditating so much, that I was able to tap in and access the ideas, the innovations, the methodologies, the solutions to what my problems were. And so I was always ahead of the pack. I was able to innovate quickly. And then I took it to the next level where I don't know if you know about positive affirmations and visualization, and then prayer and meditation. When I put all of those together, unstoppable. So I now begun to understand that there is a divine plan for my life, and that there were things that I needed to do, and once it was aligned with with the soul purpose, then literally I would be supported by the divine to achieve those objectives. And so boom, I didn't have to do as much. Literally the golden path opened.
Well, I know that my fiance, I know she's in a meeting right now, but when she watches this back, for those of you who don't know, you can check out every episode of Levels and Medz on the Bridge 99 FM's YouTube page.
Nice.
So we can always check this back out. But she has been on me that she's a big believer that's why I'm having the resistance. Not enough prayer, not enough visualization, not enough meditation.
Correct. She's correct. You're lucky.
Well, there you go.
You're
so when she hears this, I'm going to be in problems, because she's going to say, see, somebody else say it. It's not just me. But no, I believe in all of that. And really, you answered my second question. No, she really is tapped in, because she answered my second question before I got a chance to ask it, which is, once you recognize the imbalance, how do you correct it?
Yes.
And you started saying, you first take care of the body.
Right.
So food, nutrition, rest, and then exercise, you said.
Yes, movement is very important. Movement is very, guys, think about the children. You see how much energy they have? You know why? They're always moving. Nothing is stagnant in their bodies.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
They're always moving. If you can, we feel like we don't have as much energy as them, but that's a conditioning. We feel that. But if we were to continue moving
At that level,
then the body is an amazing instrument. It is a piece of technology that we don't even begin to understand yet. There are many instances of people who have started going to the gym at 50 or started weightlifting at 50, and they win competitions. The body remembers what it was designed to be. And so if you give it the exercise, if you give it the food, it's going to respond quickly and come back to balance.
And then, so we have movement, nutrition, hydration, and then you added meditation, that deep centered.
Yes. Let me explain this meditation thing. No.
Yeah, because you started and you're telling us, left hemisphere, right hemisphere connected. I'd love for you to take us through what that is as a practical. I would love for it to be as practical, because I think a lot of Jamaicans because of our upbringing, because of our, what would I say, chosen ignorance in some instances, we look at meditation as unholy and untouchable, and it's not right. And yet when I explain to some of them that prayer, Christian traditional prayer, is a form of meditation because it focuses the mind on one thing,
the outcome,
and the outcome, the gratitude, the entire being into a singular exercise of connection.
Yes.
And they say, well, I never really look at it like that.
Yes.
But as I've already declared, I don't do enough meditation. I don't do enough centralizing.
Yes.
So I'd love for you to practically explain how can we bring that into our lives for our benefit.
Right. Okay. So what I like to define meditation as an intentional connection with the divine, with God, with the all-knowing, all-powerful power. Many people have many different names. And one thing all of us agree is that there is some
body thing,
force that is the all-powerful being, right? God. It is important for us to connect with that, because we are that. We are one with that. We feel separate, and we feel like we're just alone in this world. We're born alone, we die alone. No, we are actually connected, but it's we. That thing never moves. It's we who move. We go away, we shift away, we forget, we don't acknowledge, and that's where the problem comes in. So meditation is taking the time to connect with the higher power that we have access to all the time. So they say that meditation is listening, active listening when you're in the silence, and prayer is active asking of the power to grant you something that you desire. They're both important, but I think the listening is more important. How do you meditate? Meditation, it depends on your personality type. Some people say no, them can't sit down and close them eyes and be quiet because them need for go do this, and they get distracted. So I say to everyone who is listening that you have to choose the method of meditation that suits your persona, your lifestyle, and who you are. So some people like to sit quietly in the morning. I believe in morning meditations, and there's a reason why. When one meditates, your brain waves slow down, right? When you sleep, your brain waves slow down. So the brain waves during sleep is slow, and the brain waves during meditation is slow. It's different though. But the reason why I say morning meditation is great is because the brain waves are similar. They're not the same. And so it's easier for you to move from out of the sleep brain wave into the meditation brain wave. The alpha state is what they call meditation. Now, you just need to slow down the brain waves, and then everything else in the brain that the brain communicates with, in other words, all of the rest of your body, all the organ system, your endocrine system, they get the signals from the brain. So when your brain waves slow down, then there's more coherence between your left hemisphere and your right hemisphere. And it means that your central nervous system, which is the means by which the brain communicates with the rest of the body, is going to send proper signals to the rest of the body. So when you meditate, you will find that your blood pressure will regulate, your digestion will regulate, your heartbeat will regulate, your kidney function, everything will regulate. And so this is why most people will say to you, oh, when I meditate, I just have a better day. Your ability, how you're going to respond or react to a situation is going to be different. How you're going to interact with other people in your space is going to be different. You're going to be a little bit more controlled because your heart rate is slower, your blood pressure is regulated, and your endocrine system is secreting the hormones at the right time and in the right quantities. Can you now see how not meditating is going to mess up your entire physiology? Yes.
I feel it.
Yes.
I feel it.
So
I feel like I get in a lecture.
So we all just need to, and some people don't need no long meditation. You just need to just be quiet and say, yes, thank you, Father, for wake me up. And you sit down there or you lie down there and you just say, yes, we're good. Can breathe. Can move my hand and my foot. All right, let me go to the people that work now. That is enough. And I mean, that is me being very...
Right, we're being very surface level.
Right. But it's
a start.
It's just an acknowledgement that I am alive and I give thanks to whatever it is or whoever it is that is allowing me another day. That is important. That is gratitude.
Right.
And gratitude apparently is important. You guys, how do you feel about people that are ungrateful? You don't really like them. So if you are like
I feel like that was a big bomb of a question. How do you feel as an individual looking out and dealing with others? How do you feel about others who are ungrateful?
Right.
That's a serious self-reflection moment.
It is. So then when you connect with the divine, at least the divine says, yes, she grateful or him grateful. May I go bless him today. Watch this. And they're going to put the blessings in front of you. And this is what I'm talking about, the golden path. Right? Because when you take that time and you think about why you're here and how you're here and how you can show up and be better, then you're not going to be worrying about certain things that you worry about. Like, we not have enough money, we not have no taxi fare, we not have no food for the children, you will know without a doubt that the same one that got you up this morning is going to provide. And so the little things just come into your pathway. Someone comes by and say, how the children going to school? We will carry them. And they don't ask you for any money. And that's one of your problems solved. And you need to acknowledge, again,
Gratitude.
Divine source or God or whomever, and say, thank God. See it there? One problem solved. Okay, I have 24 more to face. And if you go through with that confidence, knowing that you're connected to a divine source that is omnipotent, all-knowing, all-powerful, abundant, then you know, being a part of that source, that you are all of those things. And you no longer worry about the crosses people who live over there, so, or the crosses somebody who you're going to go to work and buck up into today. Pray for those.
And I'm following you 100%. So I feel, I mean, if there was ever a reason that I needed more improvement in my life, I just got it a while ago. So,
yes,
Dams, we need to schedule some meditation time in the office. I think the bridge on a whole could do with some meditation time. Center the energies in the building. With all that you've shared, I think you've given us a very clear roadmap to first identifying when we're out of balance and thus creating a source for illness. And I think you've given us a lot of tips on how to get back into balance, so thus creating a source for wellness. And I really appreciate going through the practicals on and the simplicity on how simple a meditation can be by simply just starting with the act of gratitude. Now I want to direct the conversation to secular success, worldly success. I am going into the workforce. I'm dealing with people on a day-to-day basis. I have to make some money. I have to provide a service, a product. I need to provide value. I need to solve a problem.
yes.
How does living this lifestyle, I say how it benefits me personally, but I'd love for you to express how can living this sort of lifestyle benefit me professionally?
Right. Well, when we think holistically, we'll realize that we are all one. And so the way that we're going to show up in this world is that we're going to treat each person like how we would like to be treated, and know that how we treat each other is going to reflect back on us. So for example, if I am an employer, then I will treat my team with respect. I will empathize with them. I will assist them in finding the pathways to solving their problems, so that when they show up to work for me, they are in the best position to be the most optimal version of themselves, right? So this means creating a nice a nice working space and conditions for them, and then fostering, because you're the thermostat. You set the tone you want.
Not
in
the thermometer.
Space. No, you're not the thermometer. You don't just come in and read the temperature. You adjust the thermostat in your space so that it's a reflection of what you want it to be. So if you are horrible to your team members, best believe they're going to be horrible to each other. And you will never get the optimal outputs that you can get. If you are kind to your team members, they will be kind to each other. They will not feel threatened. They will be supportive to each other. Right? Likewise, if you're an employee, I think it's important for you to remember why it is you're going to work, and you need to at a minimum like your job. You need to like your job and know that you're going every day to give of your best. Nobody should be better than you in your job. Nobody, because this is your job. You need to learn how to do your job the best. What's going to happen when you have excellence at work? You're going to feel better about yourself. And then you're going to have excellence in every other aspect of your life. You're going to be an excellent boyfriend or girlfriend. You're going to be an excellent lover. You're going to be an excellent dancer. You're going to be an excellent housewife. Excellence just pervades every aspect of your being. Likewise, substandards and mediocrity. If you do it at work, it's going to also pervade all other aspects of your life. So if everyone goes to work striving to be the best that they can be, and you have an entire workforce of people striving to be the best that they can be, supporting each other, being kind to each other, what is going to happen? You're going to have a beautiful scenario of a team of people who love each other, who are kind to each other, who support each other. And then it's going to be heaven. This is how I look at the world, I just feel like we can create heaven on earth, right?
On that note, folks, we can create heaven on earth. I know that's a song out there. Not on the Bridge genre playlist, but it's a song out there. We're going to take a quick break here on the Bridge, and when we come back, some final thoughts and tips with Miss Paula Herlock. That and much more when we come back to Levels and Medz here on the Bridge 99 FM. And we're back to Levels and Medz here on the Bridge 99 FM with me, your host, Jeffrey Azan. Folks, if you're just tuning in, we've been talking with Miss Paula Herlock about the intersection between spirituality, wellness, and career success. And when I tell you, may I get shake up, may I get drape up, may I get box up, because it's one thing to know the stuff, it's another to do the things. And there's a lot of work. And it's one of those things. There's always room for improvement, guys. Never think that there isn't room for improvement. A lot of people would look on, who know me personally, and even within the station, and, oh, Jeffrey, you're disciplined, oh, you're this, you're that. But major areas of my holistic development and my holistic well-being are suffering. And we're in the last part of the show, and I think Paula and I were speaking during the break, and what we're talking about is that, you listen, it's one thing, it's cute to say, oh, you need to meditate, oh, you need to eat properly, oh, you need to sleep properly. And then we say, oh, but life, stress, demands, phone call, wake up early. Even when you're trying to balance it all, something always seems to give. So for those of us on that success path, that secular success path, we're trying to serve, we're trying to create value, we're trying to be of economic value and commercial value to our loved ones, our entities, the businesses that we work in. What is something that we can do now that allows us to take control, especially in the high tension moments, and keep our bodies going? Not just our bodies and our minds and our spirits going from day to day, and even more so from challenge to challenge.
Right, that's an excellent question. I think this is one time when I'll say to everyone, you have to selfishly carve out that 1 hour or 45 minutes for yourself. It's non-negotiable. No phone call mustn't come in. Don't answer nobody. Everybody's supposed to leave you so that you can commune with God, the divine, the all-powerful one. Because when you commune with that all-powerful one, you become a part of that. And so you leave with a little bit of that all-powerful, all-knowing aspect. Yeah? But if you don't do that, that's like you didn't connect with the source. You didn't fill up at the gas station. You're going to run out of gas. Right?
True.
So you have to selfishly carve that out. I remember when I was, really corporate, my day would start at 4. And I was like, so where's my meditation time? You know what I did? I went to bed 1 hour earlier and got up at 3 so that I could spend 1 hour in meditation before my day started at 4, where phone calls were coming and emails needed to be answered urgently. A lot of people say, well, them don't have the time. As I say, there is enough time if you make it. Right? It's just like if a guy like you and you like him, you're going to find the time. Right? It's the same thing. You have to find the time because this is the most important. This is the foundation. If this don't get sorted, everything else is going to struggle. Right? The next thing that I was saying to Jeffrey that's very important is your nourishment. Your human physiology requires water, and it requires natural food, and it requires food that is filled with minerals and enzymes, right? So all those packaged things that I see some people, when I go into, let us say, a big store, and I see some people with big trolleys, and it's filled with things, and I'm looking at it and saying, Lord, if they knew how those nice tasting things are actually poisons to their body, they would ditch the whole trolley. You need to be feeding your body with fresh fruits every day. That's non-negotiable, guys. Don't tell me you didn't get a chance to get some fresh fruits. It's filled with minerals, and it's filled with something they call H3O. It's actually water that is easily absorbed into the body. The cells recognize real food. When you eat processed food, the cells go, what is this? And the cells just take this and put it over here for 25 years. You know what that is? That's a tumor. Because the body just has enzymes to break down natural foods. So when it doesn't recognize it, it puts it away. You need to have some vegetables. If you don't like vegetables and you don't have the time to cook, at least go and get a green juice somewhere. Right? In terms of supplementation, I always tell people that are really, really busy, that do a lot of, thinking and solutioning, that they need to take supplements that support their central nervous system. I was told by my practitioner to take lecithin, Lecithin, lecithin. Some people take B12, right? I also have been seeing a lot of people talking about Irish moss. We've been taking Irish moss all our lives in Jamaica. Everybody was an Irish moss baby at some stage, right? But Irish moss is great because it has a lot of minerals in it. And our central nervous system, our digestive system, our circulatory system, all of those systems need those minerals. In fact, illness, they say, is sometimes a result of mineral deficiencies, vitamin deficiencies, and so on. If you don't give your body enough vitamins and minerals and water, then when the brain, which takes water from the colon, it takes the water from the colon, that water is not so clean. Right? So then when people tell you that you are full of it, you are.
You are.
Yes. So what you need to do also, and this is something that we were really preaching a lot for Wellness Experience Jamaica, we were saying, listen, start to drink the teas that your great grandmothers and grandfathers drank, because there was a method to their activities. They drank blood cleansers to clean their blood. They took antiparasitics to rid their bodies of parasites. Some people really have parasites in them, and their behavior
is very parasitic by nature.
Yes, and they behave like things that, they say that the parasites in pigs are demons. Well, when you have a lot of parasites, you behave like you have demons in you. In fact, some of the mental health issues can be cured by just doing a parasite cleanse. Right? So we really just need to know that this vehicle needs to be cleaned internally, or else it will not function well. Detox. Detox. Bush tea. In moderation. Even if it's just ginger, turmeric, a little mint tea.
Some detox.
Yes.
Folks, you heard it here from one of the superstars himself in the area of spiritual wellness, body wellness, holistic wellness. And it's not just something that she preached, it's something that she's had to live, it's something that she's had to invoke as a lifestyle change. And folks, when I tell you, she says she's 50 something. I don't believe it, little gray here, but other than that, I have a hard time believing it. So you definitely want to get in touch with Paula. Paula, where can the people find you?
Okay, on IG, I'm at Paula Herlock, and Paula Herlock is spelled with a HURLOCK. I also am on IG as Wellness Experience Jamaica. And I have to just warn you, the Wellness Experience Jamaica is really about wellness and herbs and just things that you can do to keep healthy. The Paula Herlock page is a little bit
personal.
It's personal, so it's a little controversial sometimes. So think long and hard before you follow that page, because I throw some stuff out there that might have you cringe. So you were warned.
But it might be worth the conversation. Paula, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for doing what you're doing, Jeffrey. I really am happy that you're creating these opportunities for people to hear alternative ideas on things.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Folks, Bridge Nation, coming up next is the Timeline Show. And big ups to my producer Dominique, big up to my tech ops Kev, always handling business. Folks, Levels and Medz, we're all about next level living and next level thinking. Stay tuned, we're going to have so much more for you here on the Bridge 99 FM. Until next time, have a great day and don't stop leveling up.